what's up? It's Eliza. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face on your screen, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed today's video and become part of the family. Yes, we'd love to have you. We would love to have you. Make sure you invite more of your friends so we can have an even bigger family. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you are a recording subscriber, wow. If you are a returning subscriber, hey, what's up? What's up, fam? How you doing? I'm happy to see your face again, as I would hope that you're happy to see my face as well. Anyhow, y'all, so by the title of this video, you guys already know what we will be talking about. But I will be sharing my mental health story with you guys. It's no secret by now that I am a master's student in mental health. I've stated it in all of my videos. All 9, 10, I don't know how many videos I have right now, but I've stated it in all of my videos, so everyone knows that that's what I'm doing. That's what my passion lies. So mental health is my thing. I am embodied in mental health, and mental health is embodied in me. But I figured that I would share my story with mental health as well, as a moment of transparency. As you guys probably should know, or if you don't know, but you probably peeped by now, I'm a very transparent person. I have no problem sharing any parts of my story, simply because I believe that, you know, what you're going through isn't just for you. You're not going through the season that you're in just to go through it, just to be tortured going through it. You know what I mean? Like, I am a strong believer that what you're going through is not only for you to receive lessons from, but it's also to help people who are around you, or people who may come after you, who may be going through the same struggles, or who will be rather going through the same struggles. And because of that, you know, you have this experience to be able to share with them, you know. And so, yeah, so I am a very transparent person for that very reason. And so I want to share with you guys my story, my mental health story, and how I've kind of like my introduction to it. Yes, and like my introduction to it throughout my life, and even, well, it's pretty broad now at the age that I'm at, but at the level that I'm at right now, it's pretty broad. But you know, that wasn't always the case. Like, I remember when I was younger, when, like, you know how you have certain family members, or you know, certain family friends or something, and you'll hear someone make the comment like, "Oh, them? They're not too right in the head." You know what I mean? They're not too right in the head. And that's about as much as they'll give you. They won't tell you what's wrong. They won't tell you what happened, but they'll just tell you they're not too right in the head. And that was my introduction to it, to mental health, where obviously, as a child, you don't understand right then and there that is mental health. You don't understand that that's what that is, really. You just, they're not too right in the head. What does that mean? But I remember having a conversation very similar to that with my mother in regards to one of our family members. And we were talking, and I was telling her how, you know, this family member, I really like him. You know, I was just like, I didn't really like him. Like, I was like, nah, something's off. Like, something's off there. And I remember my mother's response was, "Oh, them? Like, you know, that member? Oh, well, you know, they're not too right in the head. Like, you know, they're like, don't ignore what they say. They're not too right in the head. They're not here. You know what I mean? They're not where me and you are." And I'm just like, what? Ma'am, what does that mean? Like, I was so confused. Like, man, what does that mean? They're not right in the head? Like, they something wrong with them? They're crazy? Like, we got crazy people in my family, like, you know what I mean? And I didn't understand it. And I also would remember that that it's not even, it wasn't even just it wasn't even just a thing that I could say it was solely my mother. You know what I mean? Like, this was something I would notice that from talking to various people who were of Caribbean descent. They will all kind of have the same cover up, I guess, but they'd be like, oh, that person, they're not right, you know, they're a little sick. That's what they would say. They were a little sick. And I'm like, what, they got the cold or something? They got the flu? What do they need? Tylenol, Mucinex? What do they need? Like, what? Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean that they're sick? And from an early age, that was always my introduction to mental health, that, you know, they're not right in the head. They're not all the way here. And I never understood what that meant. And even as an adult, I still don't really understand what that means, because that like, saying that someone isn't right in the head encompasses a broad, like, it's such a broad umbrella. Like, when you say someone's not right in the head, what do you mean? Like are they depressed? Are they antisocial? What are you talking about when you say they're not right in the head? You know what I mean? But anyhow, that was my introduction to mental health as a child. And that was like an external introduction to mental health. I should preface by saying that was an external, sorry, hold on guys. That was an external introduction to mental health. But when it came to me dealing with mental health personally, because yes, I have dealt with mental health personally. So my first brush with mental health, that kind of is a lasting one, I should say, is that in high school, I remember I was taking a Spanish exam. Oh, rather, I wasn't taking the Spanish exam. I walked into the classroom to go take the Spanish exam. And I remember freaking out over this exam. I think I want to say I was a freshman. When I was taking Spanish, this particular Spanish class. So I had a midterm, and so when it came to Spanish, I was really, really, really bad at it. And this was my first midterm ever. Like, ever was my first midterm, and my teacher had made it seem like, yo, if you don't pass this midterm, you might as well go ahead and sit up in the corner and ask people, like, ask passerbyers for change and quarters, because you're gonna be a bum for the rest of your life. Like, who's gonna want you? You know what I mean? Like, that's how she made it seem. And so I entered that class that day. I remember feeling so sick. I felt like my stomach was hurting out of nowhere. I was sweating a lot. I was sweating a lot. And I was just like, what is going on here? What is happening? Like, sis, you good? Sis, ma'am, you good? Because guys, I didn't know what was going on. And I remember sitting down, and I just felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like this was it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I remember the procedure for exam in Spanish class was she calls every student up one by one. So chair one gets up and goes to her, gives her your high school ID, and then she gives you the exam in return. And she did that one by one, row by row. And then I remember it was the second to last student before they got to me. And all of a sudden, I could not breathe. I couldn't breathe, guys. I could not breathe. I remember she called my name, and I've always been that student who every teacher has always loved. They've always told my mother, oh my goodness, your daughter is wonderful. She is such an excellent student, da 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 da. And then they would always throw that little nugget in, oh, but she talks a lot. Okay, like, okay. Like, but whatever. So, like, teachers have always loved me, you know what I mean? And so she called my name once, and I looked at her, I blinked at her, and she looked back at me, and she called my name again, and I just blinked at her, and she goes, are you okay? And at this point, I wasn't breathing, so my breathing was very ragged, it was very shallow, it was very like, it was really, 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 really bad. And she saw my face, and she just kind of panicked, and instantly called the security guards. She called the security guards, and they came instantly, and they came in. It was 2 security guards, and they brought a wheelchair, but I was like, I am not being rolled out in a wheelchair. It's bad enough that I look like a freak show over here gasping for air, but I'm not getting in a wheelchair. I'm not doing that. And luckily, with where my school is at, across the street, first of all, my school was in Manhattan, and so since I went to school in Manhattan, actually, I don't know if that's a Manhattan thing, but in the district that we were in, we had hospitals all around us. Like, we had Mount Sinai, we had Beth Israel, and then we had Bellevue Hospital, all surrounding us. And then there were other hospitals as well. And so right across the street from us was Beth Israel, and they took me basically to the hospital, hooks me up to EKGs and all of that. And honestly, I can't remember anything else that happens after that. All I remember was there are a bunch of people in my face. There are people who was trying to monitor my breathing. There are people who were trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I had inhalers being shoved in my face and people were trying to teach me how to use it. I had doctors coming in and out, EKGs, hooking me up into IVs and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm in and out of consciousness, and I'm like, I just want my mother. I just want my mom. And my mom, was she working? I think she was working. All I know is it took them a while to get a hold on her, but she finally came. We don't live in Manhattan, so she had to commute to Manhattan and everything. And so in that process, by the time she got there, I think my guidance counselor was there, the vice principal of my school was there, as well as the principal of my school, was just all sitting around me. And I was just like, I want all of you to leave me alone, and I just want my mother. I want to go home. And that was my first brush with anxiety, mental health, right? And then from then on, it would happen sporadically, where every so often something would happen that would trigger my mental health. I mean, not my mental health, I would trigger my anxiety. I remember in 10th grade, we were reading this book. We were reading The Kite Runner, and I absolutely hate that book. It's a great book. I don't hate the book, but I hate this one particular scene in it, and that one particular scene was so graphic. It triggered my anxiety so badly. My anxiety, I guess that was just like the awakening moment, to be honest, is what it was. And from then on, it's been here. I can't really tell you what triggers it. I'm not saying I'm diagnosing myself with anxiety disorder, because I know that's an actual, obviously, you guys know I've been reading the DSM-5 because of my psychopathology class. So I'm not saying I'm diagnosing myself with anxiety, but that is my first and prominent example of mental health in my life. That was internal. And even up to recently, I remember I was working at this job before the one I'm working at right now. I worked in this dental office, and my boss, guys, I need you to understand, my boss was wicked. You hear me? She was wicked. And she was just straight evil. She was evil personified. You hear me? Like, I don't think y'all hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. She, what, guys. And I remember I was working there for 2 weeks. And I worked there only for 2 weeks and then I quit. But this first, what ended up happening was the end of the first week, right? I came home and I didn't even go home. I came home and I took myself straight to the hospital because I couldn't breathe. My anxiety was horrendous. Like, it had been that every day that week I was able to go home and kind of calm my anxiety down, but I don't know what happened that day. I think for some reason that day the Wicked Witch of the West allowed us to leave early, and we left early, and so I was home, I want to say probably like 5:30 I was home, and I remember walking down my block and suddenly my vision was blurred. I could not see the floor. I couldn't like my depth perception, there we go, that's the word. My depth perception wasn't there anymore. I couldn't tell how far the ground was from me. I couldn't tell where I was putting my foot. The world was blurry. I was losing my balance, and I just made a U-turn. And I remember calling my mom. I was like, Mom, my mom was coming home from work. I was like, Mom, I'm going to the hospital. She's like, what? What's going on? What's going on? And I was just like, Mom, I can't breathe. And I'm trying to explain this to her while not being able to breathe. So I'm like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And like, and that's the way I sounded. Like, I was like, I can't, like, I'm trying to tell her I can't breathe. And she's getting frustrated because obviously she's scared, but I can't tell her what's wrong with me. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, why are you getting frustrated at me when I can't tell you what's wrong with me? Like, ah! But, like, I remember that day I ended up going to the hospital, and we ended up staying overnight, and we went the following morning back home. And I remember I was hooked up with IVs. I think they were giving me other things as well. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that in that particular hospital I was at, I happened to run into Grace's sister. Grace's sister is a nurse, and she was like, oh my God, guys, this is my little sister's best friend. What are you doing here? And I was just like, I can't breathe. Thankfully, she checked up on us while I was there and everything, and I had to take x-rays, I had to take MRIs, I had to do so much. And my poor sleep-deprived mother, actually we're both sleep-deprived. I came home that day, I think it was like 6 the next day, and I was absolutely, positively exhausted. And I remember, do I have the hospital report still? No, I think I may have thrown it out, but I had the hospital report, and they ran every test you could think of on me, and they were just like, you're literally perfect. Like, your cholesterol is fine, your thyroid glands are fine, like everything is fine. And they had a psychiatrist come down and speak to me, and she's like, what are you feeling? Because all your test results are fine, so like, we're not entirely sure what to do with you. And they kind of like, I was talking to the psychiatrist and letting her know what was going on, and she kind of basically let me know, like, okay, so I think you were just having a massive panic attack. I think that's what that was. And she's like, it's good that you came to a hospital, but if it happens again, try to basically try to center yourself and then bring yourself back from what is essentially causing you to have this panic attack. You know what I mean? And so I'm just telling you all these examples so that way you know that not only am I passionate about mental health, but that's something I have gone through myself. I'm sorry guys, I know this video is a bit of a longer one, but I'm sharing all of this with you guys because I want you to know that mental health, you don't have to look a certain way to have an experience with mental health. You don't have to look a certain way to have mental health issues. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to look a certain way to have a mental disorders. Like, like, I feel like a lot of people, when they think of mental health disorders, they think, oh, I should be able to pin out what disorder you have just by looking at you. Like, I'm pretty sure by looking at me, you would never know that I've had such bad anxiety, like that I've actually ended up in a hospital several times because of my anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure looking at me, you wouldn't know that I had depression for a year and a half. Like, you know what I mean? Like, was it a year and a half? I think, yeah, I think when you add it all up, it was like a year and a half. But you wouldn't know any of that. And so, I'm saying this and I'm telling you guys this because mental health doesn't look a certain way. Mental health doesn't have a certain look to it. Mental health doesn't have a certain stench to it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people think that you have a mental health issue, or you have a mental health disorder, or you have a mental disorder, whatever it is, that I could pick you out in a lineup. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. That's actually very false. That's actually a stereotype. If we're being honest, that is like legitimately a stereotype. I'm telling you guys this because I need you guys to understand that when I speak about mental health, it's not from an external place. It's not from a place of, oh, I'm looking from the outside in, and you know, I pity you, like, and because I pity you, I want to help you. No, not at all, baby, because I've been there myself. I've been there where I have been sitting down and I should be fine, right? But I'm crying. I cannot sleep. I can't breathe. I am sad. I don't want to do the things that are of interest to me. Like, for example, this past year, I was so depressed this past year because at this point, I had been out of school, I think, a couple of months, and everybody else around me had found a job. And I had my student loans that I had to pay because, like, you know, I don't know if you guys are in college right now, but if you're in college, your loans, they give you they give you some time to pay them back, but before you start the payment period, they give you a grace period, right? They give you a grace period of like 6 to 9 months, depending on the loan that you have. And within that 6 to 9 months, they kind of give you that they kind of advise you to take that time to find a job, to find some type of employment or some type of financial source that you could pay back the loans, right? And so, at that point, I had been looking for jobs and going to interviews and doing this and doing that, and to no avail. I had no job whatsoever, and my friends had found jobs, and you know, they were working, they were making money, and this and the third, and I was just stuck inside the house. I was depressed. Y'all know how much I love skincare, but I wasn't doing my skincare. I didn't want to do my skincare. I didn't want to take care of my hair. Forget makeup. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of the bed. I didn't want to leave my room, but at the same token, I wanted to leave my room, but I could not get myself to leave the room. Like, so I'm telling you guys this because I want you to understand, and I want you to know that when I speak about mental health, it's not from an external point of view. It's not from a place of, I don't understand what you're going through. It's not from a place of you're in this by yourself and you got to fend for yourself. It's not that at all. I've been where you're at. You know what I mean? I've walked in your shoes. Matter of fact, I'm saying I've been where you're at as if I'm not currently going through that myself. You know what I mean? Like, I understand. One of the good things about 2020 is that mental health has slowly started to lose its stigma. You know what I mean? It's slowly starting to lose. It's not losing it as fast as I would have wanted to, but it's slowly starting to lose its stigma. Slowly starting to lose its like a effect. You know what I mean? And so I'm happy for that, and so I am just doing my part to further enforce that, like, you know, that mental health doesn't look a certain way, that mental health doesn't have a certain look to it, that mental health doesn't have a certain stench to it. And I just want to share my story with you guys. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more instances and a lot more things I could have used in my life as an example, but those are the few that I wanted to share with you, that share with you guys, that I can remember off the top of my head. You know, as we continue this journey together, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to hear more stories of the different things I've gone through as well. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys were able to also get to know a bit about me some more. One thing about me, I'm never gonna be that person that's only gonna share one part of her story. Like, I know a lot of people would only share the successes, but I am never that person that's gonna share only the success and never the gory details. You know what I mean? I will always share that with you guys. I'm a very transparent person. So I hope you guys were able to appreciate this. I hope that it was able to help you. I know, granted, I didn't speak about what I did to help me through those things, but I just want to show you and share with you, and hopefully that this is something that I was able to help you. Anyhow, y'all, I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, please comment, and please subscribe. Please share this video with your friends, your families, your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters. Yeah, I thank you guys so much in advance for all the love, and I love you guys so much. Yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, please. Please, please, please stay safe. And I love you guys. Bye, lovies.